Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we help you unlock your potential freedom through land investing, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Ron Atke. For this episode, I'll be doing this episode alone, and what I'm going to be talking about in this episode is doing land deals around the holidays. Now, the reason I'm doing this episode is because it has been such a hot topic within our community of over 3,000 people, I think. And it's just a question that we are getting so much. Should I send mail around the holidays? Can you do deals? Are sellers going to respond? What about selling the land? Are buyers out there? There's so many things that go on in December, in early January after the new year that hold people back, I think, or maybe make people second guess a little bit. Like, should they start their business now or start it in January? So let's get to it, guys. Starting off, for those of you who are new, our business, the way we acquire deals is by sending mail. So this first segment, this first part, I'm going to be talking about sending mail, if you should be sending mail. Before I get started on this, guys, if you guys have not already, please hit the subscribe button below. It really helps push our YouTube forward. We try to provide as much free education as possible to you guys. So let's get back to it. Sending mail, guys. Should you be sending mail around the holidays? For me, it matters where your business is. You are not going to be, December is not going to be the most efficient month for sending mail. But for us, we have a business where we have heavy deal flow, and we do not want 1 month to break that. We expect for maybe if we send 20,000 mailers in November or September, October, whatever the month is other than December, essentially, if we send 20,000 mailers, we're going to get between 7 to 12 deals. It just matters on the month, matters with our response rate, what we're targeting. We expect when we send 20,000 mailers in December for our response rate to go down, our deal rate to go down. But that being said, when we send out 20,000 mailers, it costs us about $12,000 in mail cost, maybe $13,000 in mail cost. We just need a deal to be profitable, honestly. And when we send that 20,000 mailers in December, it's going to be a little lower. It could be a little lower where you get 5 to 7 deals, something like that. That's where it can be a little drastic. And the reason being is less people are opening mail. Some people set it on their counter for January. Just because someone is not calling you back in December does not mean they're never going to call you back. And that is a really good point that we get a ton of calls January, February of sellers who are ready to go who got our mail in December. Mail is not that linear, honestly. Mail will compound on itself as you send mail January through December every month of the year. You're not going to get a lot of calls from January in June, July, but you will get calls. Same thing with the following months. Like, you're going to get all this mail stacks up. Some people throw out the mail. Sure. Those pieces of mail are gone typically, but there are a lot of people who set the mail on their kitchen table, on their counter, put it up on their fridge and like, okay, here's an offer. This is a solid offer. If a time comes where they do want to sell, they'll offload the land. And that's why I like mail flow so much. And I think it's so important is having consistent mail flow throughout the year. So that being said, like, I kind of told you our situation with heavy volume, and we do not want to hurt our deal flow too much. If you are in a position where you have $5,000 in marketing money, you're trying to make the most of that, I would hold off till January. Just to be completely honest with you guys, if that's a position you're in, hold off till January to send mail. You'll get really good response rates January, February. A lot of sellers are out there. So yeah, getting into seller responses, what to expect. So typically we get about a call for every 100 to 125 mailers. And that doesn't mean necessarily a lead. It is a call. It is what I'm saying it is. It's a call. It is someone responding to our mail. Of those, it takes about 4 to 5 of those calls to get a purchase agreement. And then of those purchase agreements we get back, we accept about every 1 in 3, 1 in 4. So it's about 1 in every 2,400 mailers. So you send 2,500 mailers out, you're going to get anywhere from 15 to 25 calls. It really varies based on the county, based on what you're targeting. it's a heavy, heavy question in our community is like, what's response rate? What's lead rate? What's deal rate? All this stuff. If I go target $2,000 properties, I might have a response rate of one call for every 20 mailers. Versus if I target $100,000 profit deals, $100,000 properties, I might have a response for every 400 mailers. So it differs so much, guys. It also differs in terms of the deal rate. Everyone's always asking, how many mailers is it going to take me to get a deal? The reality is, yeah, there's some other factors, but if you don't know how to sell, if you're not a sales, if you don't know how to talk to people, if you're not answering your phones, your response rate is going to be determined by the work you're doing in the business. Um, we talk with people who are, we talk with people who have sent 10,000 mailers out and they haven't got a deal. But what we work on and when we're having those calls is not like what we can do better with the mail. It's like, what do we need to do? What's actually happening? And then they tell me like, oh yeah, I'm calling them back a day later. Okay, there we go. There's one thing. Oh, and I also don't call back people on the weekends. Okay, there's another thing. So that all these little things, you need to respect your leads. And I know I'm going off a little bit on a tangent about seller response, but it is so variable. It is so variable to the other things that you are doing with your in your business. It's not as much about the location that you picked, the how much mail you sent, everything like that. It's more about like what is happening on the back end. Yes, some counties are going to get a low response rate, but with that low response rate, what are you doing with those leads? That's the real question. Like if you're not nurturing leads in this business, you're going to struggle. I'm not saying you won't make it, but you need to learn how to nurture leads, how to be a salesperson. We are providing a great service to sellers by giving them a cash offer within 2 weeks, and you have to understand that when you're talking to them and build your business around that. Okay, so getting into no, I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but I think it's a really good point. So look, instead of blaming the business, that's what I kind of my point of that was instead of blaming the business when you might be struggling a little bit, look at what you can improve. Look at your last 20 calls. Are there any leads in there you could have got? Okay, but let's get on to selling land. So selling land in December, January, around the holidays, what does that look like? And this is a very common question because people ask, especially snowy Northeast, Midwest, when you're up a little more north in the Midwest, Michigan, Wisconsin, everything like that, Minnesota, getting a lot of snow. How does land sell? And to be honest, in those states in December, January, February, it is going to be slower to sell land. People are not wanting to go drive to your rural piece of property when it's snow covered, everything like that. They can't picture the land as well either. Even if they do go out there, it's more difficult for them to like imagine their family at the land, imagine that hunting, whatever the situation is. It's a lot more difficult. But that being said, like the winter's not that long. Like right now, it's almost January. You have January, February, and then it like starts to clear up, and then March, April, May, and so on. Huge months for buying land. Huge months for buying land. So it is not a bad idea to start acquiring land in colder states and snowy states around December, January, because before you know it, the weather's going to turn and land is going to sell very quickly. Another point I want to talk about with this is price drops. And I just had a meeting with the person who is in charge with our company of all selling all of our property. And I just told her, let's hold off on price drops till after the holidays. People are not buying properties right now. Like unless they see a crazy deal come up or it's a different situation, the majority of people, doesn't matter where you are, Southeast, it doesn't matter cold weather, warm weather, right before the holidays, people are not buying real estate. It's a very uncommon thing for real estate to be moving this time of year. So instead of price dropping right now, take it till after the holidays, have a minor price drop, see what's going on. This is a very slow month for real estate moving. So I always urge people to hold off on any price drops really until after the holidays, unless it's just like, you're overpriced. You can see other comps on the market listed for $50,000. You're listed for $75,000. Like, okay, maybe we need to take that down. But other than that, guys, land will start moving after the holidays. Right now, it is slow. Like if you're mid-December, even late December, doesn't matter. Like it's around the holidays. People aren't really buying land. So be patient with that. Expect your land to be move slow this time of year until after the holidays. People start getting out there. And again, in the winter states, it's going to move slow January, February as well. Last thing I wanted to get into, guys, is the opportunities. So, like I said, a lot of people have asked us this question about sending mail during the holidays. And our answer has been pretty consistent with what I'm saying here today. If you're on a tight budget, hold off. If you you're not trying to be the most efficient with your mail, with your money, that's great. Send the mail now. Let's get it out. There are some great opportunities. What I like to do when everyone's doing one thing, I like to do the other. If people are all not sending mail, like sending mail sounds like a great thing to me personally, because I see the opportunity of a bunch of people sitting on their hands and waiting for the right moment. Is January the right moment for some people? Absolutely. Is it the right moment for all you guys? I don't think so. Like I think just doing it, getting it out right now, it can be very opportunistic. I'm not saying you're going to have a crazy county where you get 5-10 deals from one county, but I know there are sellers out there. I know there are people out there. If you move fast, they might call you back Christmas. I don't know. And then deals happen around this time of the year. If you're sending mail, we get deals every year between Christmas and New Year's because we constantly are sending mail. Every year we get deals between Christmas and New Year's as well. We have calls coming in on Christmas. Like it doesn't matter. People, when they're in a position, they want to vet you. So they get that letter 2 days before Christmas. They open it on Christmas. They call you. Like they want to vet you. They'll respect you answering that. There are opportunities. That's the point of this segment, guys. There are opportunities where people are not. When people are not sending mail in a certain month, certain time of year, that opens up opportunities for you. It just does. It's with anything. When people are shying away from something, when people are scared of the market, when people are scared to invest in the stock market, anything, when people are going away from things, usually there's some opportunity within that. And that's what I see in these months, to be honest with you. If you send a high volume of mail, you'll get deals. Or some seller's going to put your mail in the trash, or some seller's going to set it on the table and maybe never open it. Yeah, for sure. I'd imagine that would happen. But there are opportunities. Like I do not want everyone in our community just holding off till June. I do not think it's the right thing to do for everyone. Some people, if you're tight on a budget, if you're just like you need to be efficient with your mail, with your money, if you can't answer the phones, like that's another thing. If you don't want to work around the holidays, don't schedule mail to hit around the holidays. That's with anything. Like if you don't want mail to hit in February, don't send mail to hit in February. If you can't work, if you can't answer phones, if you don't want to do this, answer phones, stuff like that, you need to be efficient in this business. You need to be answering phones. You need to be responding to sellers. And that's why there is so much opportunity around the holidays. Doing land deals around the holidays isn't going to change much, honestly. Like you're going to have to deal with some title company things, people being off of work. Communication can be a little more difficult with buyers, sellers, everything like that. But deals are happening right now on the buy side and the sell side. So I don't want to scare you guys away from this time of year. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like I said at the beginning, if you have not already, please hit the subscribe button below. Really helps spread the channel. If you guys have future video ideas, any future podcast education videos, anything we can help educate you on, please put in the comments what you would like to see next. Other than that, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.